Hey, what's up everyone, and welcome to another very exciting video. The year is 2003. A company called Atlas has come along and they have decided to make us a wonderful video game. And that game is Gameboy Advance for the GBA. Fun fact time. The cover art from this game actually derives from a promotional poster from The Way of the Dragon. The picture on the poster depicts the legendary Bruce Lee engaging in combat with the equally legendary Chuck Norris. Speaking of Bruce Lee, this game actually borrows a lot from him. You'll notice a few poses that they 100% borrowed from Bruce Lee. And like Bruce Lee, Jimmy and Billy Lee also pioneered their own martial arts style in this game. Speaking of this game's inspirations, it borrows from the warriors in the overworld look of the game. This game was intended to be made as an updated version of the original Double Dragon for the Game Boy Advance. This game very much follows the stock standard story of the previous Double Dragon games. Marion gets kidnapped by Shadow Warriors. The Shadow Warriors want the book of So Setsu Ken, a martial arts style that Billy and Jimmy Lee pioneered according to the instruction manual. Oh yeah, and that car from Road Blaster, that's still there. A lot of the old enemies are back, Bobo, Linda, William, Willie to name a few, but this game also introduces a new character called Steve. Steve is a suit and he will kick your butt if you're not careful. Now, there are 8 levels as opposed to the traditional 4, and they all pull from designs of previous games. Now, I really enjoyed these levels. I really enjoyed the way they played out. I have a lot of nostalgia for the Double Dragon franchise, so playing through these levels, I couldn't help but think, I see what you did there. I know where you pulled that from. I remember this. However, there was this one level featuring a truck that drove me crazy. There is a bit of platforming featured in this game, but they've fixed it up and it's nowhere near as bad as it used to be. There used to be some really bad platforming in these games and it used to drive me insane. Playing through this game, you'll also notice all the variety of attacks you have access to with the limited controllers of the Game Boy Advance. I'm not going to list all the attacks for you, but I'll put up on the screen the instruction manual of how many attacks you have access to. Look at that, there's a lot of stuff there. One of the great things about this game is the parrying. If you hit the L button at the right time, whew, you're in for some martial arts, my friend. You can crouch and perform a hyper uppercut, or even a hyper knee. You can dash into a dragon hook. You can dash into a sidekick. You can still grab your enemies, punch them, knee them in the head, you know, do the judo throw. And you can still pin them while on the floor and give them a good old pummeling. Now, what would a good Double Dragon be without its items? And this game gives you some good ones. And that's not it. All the music we still know and love is still there. It's been remixed and updated for the Game Boy Advance, and that music really hits the spot. I'm not sure if we've spoken about this, but there are cheat codes. You know how much I love cheat codes. Sure, there are only 3. 1 to change the music, 1 to add 10 credits as opposed to 5, and 1 to unlock the expert mode. I do find this game more on the difficult side, but there is a difficulty option. So if it's too hard for you, don't stress, you can put it on easy. Another great thing about the Double Dragon series is the co-op. Now, unfortunately, I don't have 2 Game Boy Advances and a link cable and 2 versions of the game for the co-op mode. But if you do, you can go ahead and play the multiplayer. There's also a mode where you can co-op it yourself and control the 2 characters, but that doesn't really work very well. And there is also a survival mode. When all is said and done, this might just be the best Double Dragon game out there. I love how this game builds on everything that's good about the franchise. There are no RPG elements like there were in the first game, but in my opinion, that's a great thing. You have access to all the attacks from the get-go. If you are a fan of old school beat-em-ups, or if you have a history with the franchise and you haven't played this game, you need to play this game. You must play this game by whatever means necessary. It's that good. Have you played Double Dragon Advance? Do you have a history with the franchise? What's your favorite old school side-scroller beat-em-up? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions. That's all from me. See ya!